The phone trembled in my hands as I dialed number after number. Caterer, florist, band. With each call, my voice grew firmer. Cancel everything, now. Outside my front door, I could still hear the noise of the car that had dropped me off. The same van that was shuttling guests back and forth to Emily's wedding. My daughter's wedding. The wedding I paid for. The wedding I was locked out of. Before I continue, tell me in the comments which city you're reading this story from. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss stories like these. My name is Helen Rogers. I'm 58 years old, and for 32 years I dedicated every second of my life to Emily. When David died in that construction site accident, she was only 5 years old. I was an elementary school teacher in Oak Grove, Massachusetts. Didn't make much, but I swore over his casket that our daughter would have everything she needed. Every extra hour I worked, every private tutoring session on weekends, every time I ate bologna sandwiches so she could have a decent lunch at school. It was all worth it. It was my way of keeping David alive, of honoring our promise to give our little girl a better future. Emily grew up beautiful and smart. She graduated from law school at Boston University. She landed an internship at a prestigious firm in downtown Boston. That's where she met Richard, the partner's son. When she told me about their relationship, I saw her eyes shine differently. It wasn't just love. There was ambition there too, but I was happy for her. After all, wasn't that what I always wanted? For her to have opportunities I never had? When they announced their engagement, it was natural for me to offer help. Emily never had to ask. I put down the deposit for the reception hall at Lakeview Manor, paid half the catering bill, advanced the payment for the photographer. All discreetly, as I always did. I never demanded recognition, never expected effusive thanks. Being a mother meant giving without expecting anything in return. For months, I saved even more to be able to give her a special gift. I had my grandmother's pearl necklace restored, the same one I wore at my wedding to David. It was a tradition in our family, passed down from mother to daughter for generations. Emily always said she wanted to wear it on her wedding day. I kept the blue velvet box in the back of my drawer, waiting for the right moment. Wedding preparations consumed my weekends. Emily would come over all excited, showing me magazines, asking for opinions about flowers, colors, invitation designs. We went to dress fittings together, chose the bouquet, sampled the menu. Not once did she mention any problem, any discomfort with my presence. We even talked about the mother-daughter dance. She chose What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. It was the song I used to sing her to sleep when she was a baby. On the morning of the wedding, I woke up at 5. I barely slept from excitement. I prepared a special breakfast for us both. Fresh blueberry muffins, coffee cake, freshly brewed coffee. Emily arrived early with the makeup artist and hairstylist. While she was getting ready, we chatted about trivial things. The weather was perfect, not a cloud in the sky. An ideal day for a wedding. Around 10 in the morning, she sent me home to get ready. Go, Mom, take your time. I'll see you there. She kissed my forehead, hugged me. Nothing seemed wrong. I put on my navy blue dress, discreet, elegant, as befits the mother of the bride, applied light lipstick, styled my hair in a low bun. I looked in the mirror and saw a tired but happy woman. Today wasn't about me. It was Emily's day to shine. The taxi dropped me off at the entrance to the venue at 3 in the afternoon. The ceremony was scheduled for 4. When I arrived at the reception, a woman with a clipboard greeted me coldly. Name, please, I found. It's strange, but answered. She checked the list, frowned. Yes, Mrs. Rogers. This way, please. We walked down a side corridor, past the kitchen, until we reached an outdoor area. There, under an improvised canopy, stood a solitary table. Next to it, the caterer's trash containers. The smell of spoiled food mixed with disinfectant filled the air. The woman pointed to the chair. Your seat is here. And what would you have done if you discovered you were purposely excluded from your own daughter's wedding? My heart stopped. There had to be a mistake. Miss, there must be some error. I'm the bride's mother. She checked her clipboard again, embarrassed. No, ma'am. The instructions are clear. This is your designated place. I insisted. But who gave these instructions? She lowered her eyes. The bride herself, ma'am, with approval from the groom's family. My legs wobbled. I had to lean on the table to keep from falling. 32 years. 32 years of sacrifice, unconditional love, sleepless nights, hands calloused from so much work. For this? To be hidden like something shameful, like something that needed to be swept under the rug. I sat in that hard chair, the sounds of the party reaching me faintly. I could hear the laughter, the greetings, the clinking of glasses. The ceremony was starting. My daughter was getting married, and there I was, alone, next to the garbage, literally. The tears came without warning. Tears of anger, humiliation, of a pain so deep it felt like it was tearing my chest apart. How could she? How could Emily, my Emily, that little girl I rocked when she had nightmares, who I carried when she fell and scraped her knee, how could she do this to me? People passed by, waiters, kitchen staff. Some looked at me with pity, others pretended not to see. A cleaning lady offered me a glass of water. Are you all right, ma'am? I almost laughed. All right? How could I be? Then I saw Emily approaching, beautiful in her white dress, flowing veil, bouquet in hand. For a moment I thought she had reconsidered that she was coming to get me, but her face was tense, irritated. Mom, what are you doing out here? People are asking about you. Emily, they put me here. They said these were your instructions. She looked away, adjusted her veil. Mom, it's just... Richard's family thought it would be better this way. You know how it is, they have certain standards. And you never really fit into their environment. Each word was like a stab. I paid for this wedding, Emily. Every penny. How could you? Oh, Mom, don't be so dramatic. It's just for today. Tomorrow everything goes back to normal. Now I need to get back. They're waiting for me for the toast. She turned away, her dress swirling. Before leaving, she tossed over her shoulder. The necklace looks beautiful on me. Thank you. I stood there, paralyzed. The necklace, my family necklace. She was wearing it, parading with it while hiding me like a dirty secret. It was at that moment that something broke inside me. It wasn't just anger, it was clarity. Brutal, painful clarity. I grabbed my purse and left. Nobody stopped me. Nobody even noticed. I called an Uber, and throughout the entire ride home, the tears wouldn't stop. The driver tried to make conversation. Coming back from a party, ma'am. But I couldn't answer. How do you explain that you've just been kicked out of your own daughter's wedding? When I got home, the silence was deafening. The same house where I raised Emily alone, where every corner held a memory of us. The height marks on the kitchen wall, her framed drawings in the hallway, the graduation photos. Everything stared. It me accused me. How did I not see the signs? How was I so blind? That's when I remembered the contracts. All the final payments for the wedding were scheduled to be debited from my account on Monday. Catering, flowers, decorations, music, all in my name as Emily had requested. It's more practical this way, Mom. You've had a bank account longer, you get better terms. And I, fool that I was, agreed. I called my friend Christine. I needed to talk to someone. Chris, you won't believe what happened. I told her everything between sobs. She was silent for a few seconds, then said, "Helen, you need to cancel those payments now." "But Chris, I can't do that. There are 300 guests there. It would be a scandal." "And putting you next to the trash wasn't a scandal? Helen, wake up. Your daughter used you, used your money, your love, your dedication, and then discarded you like a used napkin." Christine's words echoed in my head. She was right. Emily had no qualms about humiliating me. Why should I have qualms about reacting? I opened my laptop and started checking my emails. All the contracts were there, scanned. I read the clauses carefully. As the payer, I had the right to cancel up until the moment of service delivery. The party was in progress, but nothing had been finalized yet. The first call was to the caterer. "Good afternoon, this is Helen Rogers. I need to cancel your service for the Sullivan Moore wedding." The attendant seemed confused. "But ma'am, the event is happening now." "I know. As the contractor and payer, I'm canceling. You have 30 minutes to remove everything." "Ma'am, that's impossible. The guests are already being served." "Then serve them water. The contract is clear about my rights." The second was to the florist, then the premium bar, the DJ, the video and photography service. One by one, I canceled everything. With each call, I felt a weight lifting from my shoulders. It wasn't revenge, it was justice. It was the first time in 32 years that I was choosing myself. My phone started ringing frantically. Dozens of calls from unknown numbers, WhatsApp messages. I didn't answer any. I knew what was happening. The house of cards was collapsing. At 8 o'clock, the doorbell rang insistently. Through the window, I saw Emily, still in her wedding dress, her face red with anger. Beside her, Richard and his parents. I took a deep breath and opened the door. "Mom, what did you do? You ruined my wedding!" Emily screamed, mascara smeared across her face. "How could you do this to me?" "How could I?" My voice came out calm, which seemed to irritate her even more. "Emily, you put me next to the garbage, literally next to the garbage, at the wedding I paid for." Richard's mother, Mrs. Julia Moore, interjected. "Listen here, you gold digger. You did this out of jealousy, because you know your daughter has moved up in the world and you got left behind." Richard tried to intervene. "Julia, please." But she continued, "I always knew you people were trash." Emily assured us you'd understand your place, that you were discreet, that you wouldn't make a scene. My place? I looked at Emily. Is that what you told them? That I'd understand my place? Emily lowered her eyes. Mom, you don't understand. Their world is different. I needed to adapt. And adapting means erasing where you came from, forgetting who raised you. Emily, I sold my car to pay for your college. I cleaned houses during vacations to buy your law books, and you're ashamed of me. It's not shame, she exploded. It's complicated, Mom. You wouldn't understand. You've always been just a teacher. You never had ambition, never wanted more from life. That hurt more than anything. Never had ambition. Emily, my only ambition in life was you. Every sacrifice, every choice, it was all for you. And look how you repay me. Richard approached, taking something from his pocket. It was the blue velvet box. Mrs. Rogers, Emily told me about the necklace. She hid from me that it was yours. Said she bought it at a jewelry store. He extended the box to me. I think it should stay with you. I took the necklace. The pearls gleamed under the porch light. Thank you, Richard. I looked at Emily. This necklace has passed through 4 generations of strong women in our family. Women who worked hard, who raised their children with dignity. I thought you would be the next. I was wrong. Do you think I went too far? That I should have overlooked the humiliation for the sake of family? Mom, please. Emily started crying. We can fix this. I made a mistake, I know. But it doesn't have to be like this. Cancel the cancellations. There's still time. No, Emily, there isn't. You made your choice when you put me in that corner, when you decided I wasn't good enough for your new life. Now live with the consequences. Mrs. Moore huffed. Let's go. We don't have to listen to any more from this resentful little woman. Richard, Emily, let's go. But Richard didn't move. No, Mom, I'm not going. He turned to Emily. How could you do this to your own mother, the woman who raised you alone? I grew up with everything, but my parents never taught me to despise those who love me. Richard, Emily grabbed his arm. You're taking her side. Seriously. It's not about sides, Emily. It's about character. And today you showed yours. He turned to me. Mrs. Rogers, forgive me. If I had known. You're not to blame, Richard. It was her decision. They left, arguing. Emily was crying. Mrs. Moore was shouting. Richard's father was trying to calm everyone down. Richard was the last to leave, giving me an apologetic look. I closed the door and leaned against it. The silence returned, but now it was different. It wasn't oppressive anymore. It was liberating. Christine arrived an hour later with a bottle of wine and a pizza. I saw the messages in the WhatsApp group of the school moms. Everyone's talking. The wedding turned into chaos. We sat on the couch, and she poured me a generous glass. How are you feeling? I thought for a moment. You know, Chris, I feel alive. For the first time in a long time, I feel I exist, that I have wants, desires, rights. I spent so much time being just Emily's mother that I forgot who Helen was. And who is Helen? Christine smiled. I'm still figuring that out, but I know it's someone who no longer accepts being treated like garbage, literally or figuratively. We toasted to that. As we drank, my phone kept receiving messages, some supporting, others criticizing. The story had already spread. Videos of the wedding emptying, confused guests, vendors removing equipment. 2. You regret it? Christine asked. I looked at the pearl necklace on the coffee table. Not at all. You know what hurts the most? It's not the money. It's not even the public humiliation. It's realizing I raised someone who thinks it's normal to discard those who love her. Where did I go wrong, Chris? You didn't go wrong, Helen. Sometimes, despite all our love and dedication, people make wrong choices. Emily chose status over love, appearance over essence. That's not your fault. That night, I slept on the couch, holding an old photo. Emily, at 5, on school carnival day. Her dressed as a little cowgirl. Me as Annie Oakley. We were so happy, so connected. When did we lose that? Sunday dawned. Gray, matching my mood. But something was different. For the first time in decades, I didn't have to worry about Emily's Sunday lunch, her clothes for the week, her needs. It was strange and liberating at the same time. The phone rang early on. Monday, unknown number. I answered reflexively. Mrs. Rogers, this is Frank from the City Tribune. We'd like to hear your version of what happened at Saturday's wedding. I hung up immediately. I wasn't ready to become news, but it was too late. When I opened Facebook, there it was. Videos of the wedding being dismantled, outraged guests, sensationalist headlines. Mother cancels daughter's wedding for revenge. Family drama ruins celebration for 300 guests. The mother-in-law who didn't want the wedding. No headline told the truth. None mentioned that I was excluded, humiliated, placed next to the garbage. The narrative was already built. I was the villain of the story. The comments were divided. Some called me crazy, bitter, jealous. Others defended me, said they would have done the same. Mothers shared similar stories of ingratitude, of being discarded after years of sacrifice. I decided to leave the house. I needed air. I went to Cedar Park, my refuge when I need to think. I walked for hours observing families, couples, children, life following its normal course while mine was turned upside down. I sat on a bench near the lake and stayed there, feeding the ducks. An elderly lady approached and sat beside me. She must have been around 70, well-groomed white hair. "You're the mother from the wedding, aren't you?" she asked gently. "I saw your photo in the newspaper." I sighed. "That's me, the wicked witch of the story." She laughed. "Wicked witch? Dear, you did what many of us would have liked to do. My son excluded me from his wedding 15 years ago, said I didn't match the bride's family. I swallowed my pride, smiled, kept quiet. You know what I got for it? Nothing. He still treats me like a second-class citizen to this day." Do you regret not reacting? Every day, we establish the pattern of how we want to be treated. When we accept the unacceptable. We teach people they can continue hurting us. We sat in silence for a few minutes, just watching the ducks. "You know," she continued, "the hardest part isn't the moment of decision. It's the aftermath, when the adrenaline drops and we're left alone with the consequences. But remember, you didn't lose a daughter. You gained your dignity back." When I returned home, there was a car parked out front. It was Richard, alone. "Mrs. Rogers, may I speak with you?" We made coffee and sat on the porch. He looked dejected, older. "Emily is staying at my parents' house. We haven't been able to talk properly since Saturday. She just cries, screams, blames everyone but herself." He stirred his cup, thoughtful. "I discovered many things this weekend, things she hid from me." "What kind of things?" "That you paid for her education. That you worked double shifts to support both of you. That you gave up remarrying to dedicate yourself to her. Emily always told me her father left a good inheritance, that you lived comfortably." I laughed bitterly. David died owing 3 months' rent. The construction company's compensation barely covered the funeral and debts. I raised Emily on my teacher's salary and a lot of sacrifice. Why would she lie about that? "Shame, Richard. Your family has money, status. Emily always wanted to belong in that world. I guess she found it easier to invent a story than to admit she came from humble origins." He shook his head. "I fell in love with her because she seemed so authentic, so different from people in my circle. Now I discover it was all an act. People change, Richard. Or maybe she was always like this and I just didn't want to see it." "Would you forgive her if she asked for forgiveness?" I thought about the question. Forgive? Maybe someday, but go back to how things were? Impossible. Some things can't be fixed. Trust once broken. He got up to leave. At the door he turned. "I want you to know I annulled the marriage. I can't live with someone capable of doing what she did. If her own mother doesn't deserve respect, what's left for me in the future? And if your daughter isolated you too, would you act differently, or accept everything for fear of losing her?" After Richard left, I called the school where I work. I told them I would need a few days of leave. The coordinator was understanding. Everyone already knew the story. On Tuesday, I received a summons. Emily was suing me for moral and material damages. She claimed she suffered public humiliation, that the cancellation of services caused harm to her image and reputation. The state irony was bitter. She humiliated me, excluded me, treated me like garbage. And now I was being sued for not accepting it silently? I sought a lawyer, Mr. Mark Almeida, recommended by a work colleague. He listened to the whole story, examined the contracts. "Mrs. Rogers, you're legally covered. As the contractor and payer, you had the right to cancel. The vendors should have requested advance payment if they wanted a guarantee. As for her lawsuit, it's frivolous. It won't go anywhere. But she's my daughter, counselor. How did we get to this? Unfortunately, I see cases like this every week. Children who sue parents, siblings fighting over inheritance. Money and status corrupt the most sacred bonds. I left the office feeling heavier. Not because of the legal issue, but because of the realization that Emily and I were on opposite sides of a legal battle. How do a mother and daughter reach this point? That night, I received a message from an unknown number. It was Richard's mother. "You jealous bitch. You destroyed my daughter-in-law's wedding because you can't stand seeing her move up in life. People like you should know your place. P.S. We're going to support Emily in the lawsuit. You'll pay for this humiliation." I blocked the number. I didn't need that poison in my life. Christine came to have dinner with me. She brought homemade lasagna and more wine. "How are you holding up?" "One day at a time. The worst is Emily's silence. She won't even come yell at me, prefers to sue me through a lawyer." "Helen, can I be honest? I think Emily has been emotionally blackmailing you for years. You lived for her needs, for her desires. When was the last time you did something just for yourself?" I couldn't answer. I truly didn't remember. "Maybe," Christine continued, "this situation, as painful as it is your chance to rediscover yourself, to live for yourself." At 58, isn't it too late? Too late is when we're dead. You're alive, healthy, intelligent. You have a career, your own home, friends. Many people start over with much less. That night, for the first time, I began making plans that didn't involve Emily. I always wanted to take a painting course. I loved traveling but never had money. It all went to her needs. Maybe it was time to change that. Midweek, I received an unexpected visit. 3 of my former students, now adults, showed up with flowers. "Mrs. Rogers, we saw the news. We want you to know we support you." Patricia, one of them, had tears in her eyes. "You were always more than a teacher to us. When my mother died, you were the one who helped me. When I didn't have money for school supplies, you bought them secretly. You never left anyone behind." "That's right," added Juliana. "My daughter is in school today because of you. You convinced me not to drop out when I got pregnant at 16. The tears came. Different tears from Saturdays, tears of gratitude, of recognition. "Girls, you have no idea what this means to me." "Mrs. Rogers," said Carla, the third one, "you've dedicated your life to others. It's time someone took care of you. We created a WhatsApp group, your former students. Everyone wants to help somehow." After they left, I sat thinking. Maybe I had more family than I imagined. Chosen family, built with care and dedication over the years. The phone rang. It was Emily. I answered with my heart racing. "Mom." Her voice was hoarse. "I need to talk to you." "I'm here, honey." "Don't call me honey. You lost that right when you destroyed my wedding." The stab was right on target. "Emily, I don't want your apologies. I just called to let you know I'm pregnant. You'll never meet your grandchild. You'll never be part of his life. I hope you're happy with your choice." She hung up before I could respond. Pregnant. My daughter was pregnant and I wouldn't be part of it. I collapsed on the sofa. The weight of that revelation was crushing. A grandchild I would never know. A continuation of the family that would be denied to me. But then I remembered Emily's words. "I hope you're happy with your choice." As if I had chosen to be humiliated, excluded, treated like garbage. No, I didn't choose this. Emily chose when she decided I wasn't good enough for her new life. The consequences were hers, not mine. I picked up the phone and sent her a message. "Emily, I'm sorry you see things this way. My door will always be open if you decide you want a relationship based on mutual respect. I wish health for you and the baby. I will always love you even from afar. I blocked her number afterwards. If she wanted to reach out to me, she would have to make a real effort, not just attack me via message. 6 months have passed since that fateful Saturday. 6 months that completely changed my life in ways I could never have imagined. The first change came 2 weeks after the wedding. I decided to sell the house. That place carried too many memories, too many ghosts. Every corner reminded me of an Emily that perhaps never really existed, or worse, of a mother I was who completely erased herself in the process. I bought a smaller apartment in Riverside near the subway, with a beautiful balcony overlooking the sunset. I used part of the money from the sale to fulfill an old dream. I opened an account to travel. Another part, I invested in a project I had been planning for months. "Are you really going to do this?" Christine asked while helping me with the moving boxes. "Yes, I am. With the money I saved all these years for Emily, plus what was left from selling the house, I can fund at least 2 years. The project was a tutoring school for underprivileged children, but not just any school. It would be a welcoming space where single mothers could leave their children while they worked, where children without resources would have access to school supplies, snacks, and especially affection. "New Beginning School," I read the sign aloud on opening day. "Does it sound corny?" "It sounds perfect," said Richard, who surprisingly had become an unlikely friend during these months. He and Emily never reconciled. The divorce went through quickly. He didn't want anything beyond the annulment. He discovered Emily had lied about many things, including a credit card debt she had made in his name. "You know what impresses me the most?" he said while helping to paint one of the rooms. "You could be bitter, angry at the world, but you chose to transform your pain into something good." Anger consumes, Richard. I prefer to use my energy to build something. The school started small with 5 children. In 3 months, there were 20. Mothers came to thank me with tears in their eyes. "Mrs. Rogers, you don't know what it means to be able to work knowing my child is safe and learning." One of them, Rose, hugged me tightly one day. My ex-husband also humiliated me on the day of our divorce, made me sign the papers in front of his friends, all laughing at me. "Your story gave me strength to move forward." The former students who had visited me became volunteers. Patricia taught English, Juliana helped with math tutoring, Carla organized recreational activities. Others joined. Soon, we had a support network I never imagined possible. Emily's lawsuit didn't go forward, as Mr. Almeida had predicted. She tried 3 different lawyers, but none wanted to take the case. The story had become too public, and the facts were clear. I had every right to cancel services I was paying for. I learned through Richard that she had the baby, a boy named Ethan. The Moore family assumed all costs and care. Emily moved back in with her ex-husband's parents, in a strange arrangement where she lived on charity in exchange for giving them access to their grandson. "They treat her like a disguised maid," Richard told me during a visit. "Mrs. Moore controls her every move, every expense. It's ironic. She traded the mother who loved her unconditionally for in-laws who tolerate her out of self-interest." I felt sorry, genuinely. Not satisfaction or revenge, just a deep sadness for the path she had chosen. One Saturday morning, I was in the park with the school children when I saw her. Emily was pushing a stroller, her face drawn, deep circles under her eyes. Our gazes met. For a moment, time stood still. She approached slowly. The baby slept peacefully. He was beautiful, had David's almond-shaped eyes, my late husband. "Hi, Mom." "Hi, Emily." We stood in awkward silence. The children ran around us, shouting happily. "Are those your students?" "From the school. I opened a project for underprivileged children." She nodded. "It was always your dream." It was. I just needed 58 years to make it happen. More silence. The baby stirred, opened his little eyes. They were brown like mine. "He's beautiful, Emily." "Yes, Ethan." She hesitated. "Do you want to hold him?" I gently declined. It wouldn't be fair, to him or me. Boundaries aren't crossed suddenly like that. She lowered her head. "I ruined everything, didn't I?" "You made choices, Emily. We all do. Some have no going back." "Do. You hate me," I thought before answering. "No, I could never hate you. You're my daughter, you always will be. But love doesn't mean accepting disrespect. Self-love is also love. I'm alone, Mom. The Moores treat me like an incubator who's already fulfilled her function. Richard abandoned me. Friends disappeared when the money ran out. All that's left is the mother you were ashamed to introduce." She started crying. "Forgive me? And you? In my place, would you forgive? Open your arms and pretend nothing happened? Emily, forgiveness isn't an eraser that wipes away the past. I do forgive you. But forgiving doesn't mean going back to how things were before. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt the same way. So there's no hope. There's always hope, but it needs to be a new relationship with different foundations, mutual respect, clear boundaries, truth above all. You need to accept who I am, where we come from, our real story, and I need to learn not to erase myself for you." She nodded, wiping away tears. Can I visit the school someday? See what you've built? When you're ready for that, yes. But Emily, don't do this on impulse or out of neediness. Do it when you truly understand what happened between us. She left, pushing the stroller. She didn't look back. I stood there watching my daughter and my grandson move away, my heart tight but strangely at peace. The children called me back to the game. Lucas, one of the little ones, held my hand. "Miss Helen, why are you sad?" "I'm not sad, dear, just thoughtful. My mom says when we get thoughtful, it's because our heart is talking to our head." I smiled. "Your mom is very wise." At night, at home, I took the pearl necklace. I hadn't worn it since that day. I put it around my neck and looked in the mirror. I saw there not just Helen, but all the women in my family who came before me. Strong, hard-working women who didn't bow to adversity. The phone rang. It was an international number. "Mrs. Rogers, this is Maria Gonzalez from the Latin American Educational Foundation. We've seen your school's work on social media. We'd like to talk about a possible partnership to expand the project." My heart raced. "Partnership?" "Yes. We have a funding program for innovative educational projects. Your profile fits perfectly. Could you meet with us next week?" I hung up the phone with trembling hands. Life was offering me possibilities I never imagined. At 58, I was starting a new career, a new purpose. I called Christine. "You won't believe what just happened." As I shared the news, I realized something. For the first time in decades, I was making plans for my future. Not Emily's future, not anyone else's future, mine. A year after that wedding, I was in Asheville, North Carolina, fulfilling another old dream, visiting historic small towns, alone, with my camera and a notebook. The school had expanded. With the foundation's support, we opened a second location. I hired teachers, coordinators. The project was running on its own. Sitting in a colonial cafe, enjoying a warm scone, I received a message from Emily, a photo of Ethan, now 1 year old, taking his first steps. "He has your smile. the message said. I smiled and replied, "May he grow strong and happy." Our relationship had evolved to this. Occasional messages, baby photos, happy birthday wishes. It wasn't what I dreamed when I held her in my arms for the first time, 33 years ago. But it was real, honest, possible. I finished my coffee and went out to explore another cobblestone street. The sun warmed my face. The wind tousled my now gray hair. At 59, I felt more alive than at 30. I met a group of tourists taking photos and offered to photograph them. An elderly lady approached afterwards. "Do you travel alone?" "Yes, first time." "Brave. I only had the courage after 65. I wasted many years waiting for company." "It's liberating, isn't it?" "Very much so. We discover we're our own best company." That night at the hotel, I wrote in my diary, another new habit. Dear David, today marks 1 year since the wedding that wasn't. 1 year since I learned the difference between being a mother and being held hostage by maternal love. Our daughter made choices I don't understand, but I made mine too. I chose not to accept the unacceptable. I chose to respect myself. I chose to live. You know what I discovered? That self-love isn't selfishness. It's survival. It's what allows us to love others in a healthy way without losing ourselves in the process. Emily is finding her way. I hope it's a path of growth and maturity. Ethan is beautiful and healthy. Our family continues, even if in a different format than we dreamed. And me? I am being reborn. At 59, I'm learning who Helen is beyond mother, widow, teacher. I'm discovering a strong, capable woman, full of dreams, still unfulfilled. Thank you for everything we lived. Thank you for Emily. Thank you for teaching me that true love liberates, not imprisons. Until next time, Helen. I closed the diary and looked out the window. The lights of Asheville twinkled in the night, each one telling a story. Mine was just beginning. You know, if you've made it this far, it's because perhaps you too have experienced moments of difficult choices, necessary losses, late new beginnings. I want you to know, it's never too late to choose yourself. It's never selfish to establish boundaries. It's never wrong to demand respect, even, and especially, from those we love. Life is too short to live in the janitor's closet, next to the garbage for fear of bothering others. We deserve to be in the main hall, under the lights, celebrating our existence. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. If this story touched you in some way, share it with someone who needs to hear that it's okay to choose yourself. We're not selfish, we're survivors. With love, Helen.